The game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a very good rack. I have Bastia and possibly something with that E. Just looking if I do have a triple word score down onto the E or starting with the E. I'm thinking I might just go for Bastia here because I can't see a triple word score. I'll go for Bastia. That looks alright for 74. And I draw a few duplicates, so I can resolve the rack fairly easily, I think. Hello is alright. Hello like that, and onto the B, or perhaps something through the R. I'll just wait to see what my opponent does. Just looking if this would be the best placement for it, maybe. That's 20 points. The rack leave not very good, so perhaps... Okay, opponent takes that spot anyway. So perhaps something. I don't have a front hook for hens, so I'll be looking to perhaps utilize this double word square here, or this one through the R. I believe Horal is good. Not a terrible rack leave. But can I get rid of one more vowel just to create more balance for the next rack? I mean, I have Urali here, but the score's not great, and it does create a pretty hot spot there. Urali for 14 or Horal for 20. 10 more points. I think I'll go with this. So, we're getting a little bit closer now to bingo territory, which is good. I have valid. Do I have a 7? Not that I can see. I have Valgoid, I think, through a G. Now, can I utilize the H if my opponent doesn't go there? Perhaps get rid of the L's with a play of hill, maybe, but it certainly doesn't seem best. Hill 21 rack leave. I'd prefer to get rid of the V and the L on this next turn. Okay, opponent does go there as I thought. Can I get across from the R onto this double word, or across from this side? I have the love component of a word here. It doesn't look promising. I have the IVE ending, the suffix, a lot of words ending in IVE, but nothing jumping out at me. So what do I do with this rack? I really just want to get rid of VOL, unless there's a good scoring spot for more tiles to be played. Maybe even VERL over here. That's 15 with LOAD, and this is 15 with LAID. Slightly better rack leave. Does this help me? Just have one last look if I can maybe get across to the R. Actually, I think I will play here. Viral. It's more defensive, I think. So, my rack now. Duplicate D with the Y, so still not particularly close to a bingo. I have the LY ending. Toddy, I believe, is good. Fan, okay. I don't have any hooks for Horal, I don't believe. Just looking if I can get some value off the Y. Maybe Yid. Oh, that used to be good, but it's not anymore in the new dictionary. So I guess I could play Noddy across there, but it feels a bit weak. Gives back too much anyway. What about Doty? Doty for 20. Yeah, that'll do. We got the J for score here, so a play of I was thinking of a Taj or Raj play down there, but don't have the R or T. JI plays to get the J to score twice. I don't have an option there. I do have Jiao on my rack. JIAO. And the way I remember that is John is always out. That's an easy way to remember that one. And it does actually play next to the D, making AD and double O. So it plays across there. Can I really not get the J to score on one of the triples? Nothing ending in D with my J there. So Jiao is still the candidate play with LAD as the rack leave. Could be worse. Just thinking of some other J plays which might benefit me on this board. I guess I have Jiao onto the O, but it doesn't score more than row E, or column E, I should say. So, yeah, guess I have it here as well. 24, similar score. I think it would score slightly better here. 27, but it'll give back a little bit there. I like the bingo lane created in row D, column D, so that might work for me because the L and the D both go in front of 00. So I think there's some merit to this position, apart from the score being the best. Just waiting to see what my opponent... Oh, my opponent passed. Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize that. So perhaps he's waiting for a tile that will give him a spot to play his bingo, or just an opening for his bingo. So I might play it here, because this doesn't give opponent much by way of bingo lanes. So let's see what he makes of this play. That was quite peculiar for my opponent to pass. He didn't change tiles. It looks like he just passed his turn. Okay. Not quite a bingo with this rack, I don't think. I have the out prefix. Close to outland. Not quite. Can't see a compound word with this lot. So I'll be looking to get rid of the U, the G, and possibly the L. Okay, opponent's played MO, and I don't have an E for going in front of the M, so I will be looking to frustrate the lane a bit for my opponent, and that's as good a rack leave as I think I might get with this set of 7 tiles. So I'll go with Doug for 20. Not ideal. Triple T. As far as triplicates go, the T is probably not the worst to have triplicated on your rack, but certainly not a welcome sight either. Tout. Tout or what? W-A-T-T is an option for sorting the rack out. Or twat, T-W-A-T there. So that's one option. I certainly want to get rid of 2 T's and the W on my next turn as a minimum. Looking at 5-letter plays with the D, incorporating a W, and nothing is coming to mind there. Okay, opponent burns an S there for 21. He might well have a second S if he's burnt that one so cheaply. I'm thinking of maybe actually playing toe here, because I have the T for going in front of WO. I have a couple of them actually. 20, not a bad score. Yeah, this does favour my rack leave, I think, a little bit with that hook. So I'm going with toe for 20. Wow, duplicates and triplicates. I've had a fair few this game, but it's all good practice anyway to sort out troublesome racks. I think datal is good, and that plays down in column D. Datal for 18, not a great rack, not a great score, but not a bad rack leave considering what it started at. So that's one option, datal for 18. Any action off this jog, can't seem to extend that. The S doesn't really assist. Fan does take a D, so datal also plays here with a lot more volatility. 20 points there and 18 there. Does create a bit of a Z hotspot, so although there is one there anyway, so not like I'm creating the only one available. So a little bit to consider there. I have obit, but I don't have an I for coming down next to UN, making uni, so that row isn't available to me for a decent score. I have the D for going here, but can't get much more with regards to getting rid of A's and T's, so I really do need to look at datal. Do I go for the volatile play or... Oh, now opponent has created a further spot for datal. That's 19. It does leave that D floater out there. Do I have an ATT play? Okay, because I can play Todd and 2, and no, nothing jumps out there, so this does actually take out a bingo lane ending in S. I don't think Horal takes an S, so this is quite a valuable bingo lane to my opponent. I think I'll play datal here for 19, taking out that bingo lane. Great, finally in bingo territory, well and truly. Whether or not there is a bingo here remains to be seen. It's just jumped out at me. Trig. Now, does that play? I have my T. Trig. Okay. Opponent plays pack. Frustrates the D as a bingo lane, so that's pretty much useless unless you end on OD or UD. That's unlikely. Trig, only 6 spots there, so that's not a bingo lane in row G. And Horal, don't think it has any hooks. Might be wrong. That's frustrating. finally got the rack to mature into a bingo, and no spot for it. Now I'm looking at that S because it looks like it helps this rack in terms of building from a 7 to an 8. Just looking at, obviously, Triegs with the S, but does it have an anagram? And does the anagram begin with an S? I won't be wasting too much time on that because I am down to just over 4 minutes. So I'll be looking to score and how best to do that. I'm not quite seeing a play here. So, what does one do here? GUE, I could play. How many A's to come? Not too many A's. Then the A front hook for GUE could be dangerous. I think maybe GUE here sorts the rack out nicely, gives me a possible bingo with my A as a front hook, and doesn't give too much back for opponent. I think I'll go with this. Right, so I triplicate the A's, which is unfortunate because the rack was pretty favourable, RATE. Looking at maybe getting rid of 2 A's on the next, although I won't totally discount the rack as being bingo-less. Sometimes there are 3A bingos that you kind of overlook. And even with the S, a play like Serenata, which I almost have, but for the triplicated A, if that was an E, it would be play as Serenata. But I think in this case, maybe there isn't a bingo here. So 2 A's. What do I do with 2 A's if I am to create an opening? 2 A's. Does this help me at all? Aga. I've got the N front hook for Naga, and Raga might be good. Raga. I think Naga is definitely rings more of a bell. I think I'll go with Aga, unless it's 8 points. Yeah, it's a very strong 5-letter set. Just looking at the remaining tiles, far more consonants than vowels. So I'm likely to draw consonants here. So do I? Well, I do really. That's tricky. I've got an E to play through, I guess, as a vowel, so I think I will go with this. Okay. Entreat. That's good. Entreat. What else is there? Entreat. Okay, so Naga and entreat. That works. Anything through the E. Rataner through an R, I think is good. Ratana. I have the ante prefix. Ante. Anything from the E, that would be even better. Enterate. Enterate. I think that might actually be good. Why does that ring such a strong bell? Enterate. Let's check that one. Yes. Happy to have spotted that. We've got the men component of the word, almost repo men, which would be nice, but for the duplicate R, so repo men. But what are we going to do? We've got the P. I can see there's a Z unplayed, so that's a very big potential score. Something like perm could be an option if my opponent doesn't take that spot. Perm also takes out the bingo lane, as well as taking out the Z hotspot, so I'm a fan of perm. Any other options? Okay, opponent does play there, so perm still plays, and that is still a Z hotspot, so I think I will play here, perm. And there's still a Y to come, so that could be quite an interesting hotspot there. So I'm going to go with perm for 23. Okay, I draw the Q, and I do have a QI play here at H4. Looking at other Q spots, QIN and Dan. It might give back a 30-odd point play down onto this trip, but nothing wrong with 34 points, even if it does give back a similar amount to opponent. Chin for 34. Any other hot spots I haven't considered? Not that I can see. I mean, I do have chin up here. And what can opponent? I suppose 2 unseen blanks. It would be crazy to give away a 9-timer with an SQ play. So I think I'll go with chin. I also have sank for face value, but chin looks alright for 34. I do draw the Z, so that's interesting. I was so worried about opponent getting a huge score with it, and that's often the case, that you can pick it up yourself and block the hotspots that you could use. So I don't seem to have a ZI something play. I can't see. Time is pretty low, so I won't dilly-dally with this one. Maybe Dozier is good, but no front hooks for Aga. Or is it the R? I didn't. I have oh yes. Nothing to go in front of GUE. Interesting. Fan. Dozier. I guess I could go, or just Dozy is what I was thinking. Dozy and fanned. Wow, some more artillery. I get the X, the K, Q, can't use that. Opponent running pretty low on time there. X, what can I do with X? I guess I have EX there. Opponent scores well with fees. What should I do with, I guess just, can I play Kex somewhere? I'm also pretty low on time. I'll just go with X to be able to get out some score, and K A K O K I and Koi, that seems alright. And GR, rag and goo, I guess. Anything else? I guess I've got rig and mog, that'd score better. And yeah, rig and mog. Opponent looks like they are timing out, so the game ends. And we'll have a quick look at the examiner just to see if there were any big misses. I'll just look at my own racks for now. My rack was Bustia and Rubiest scored the same, so not much difference there. My rack Horel was the analyzer's top choice, so happy to have spotted that one. And my next rack, Laval, and I went with Verl right down the bottom. Okay, it was an equity of about 16, and that equity was 20. Laval. Okay, I do like that actually. So that was a miss. And we'll go to the next rack of mine. Oddly, that would have been nice. 14k. That's over here. Thano and Oddly across onto, although it does expose the trip for a potential big score, so I'm not totally upset with having missed Oddly. Then I played Zhao in this spot, I3. I could have played it at E4, which is here. And that was my initial consideration, because it did score a touch more, 3 points more, but it also seemed to open up that bingo lane when my opponent for some reason had passed. It looked like he was looking for another bingo lane or an opening, so I thought play the defensive one, and I think given the circumstances that might have been the right play in that instance. And I then played Doug for 20, but Glout was on offer. Same score, much better rack leave AD as opposed to ALOT, so 14k Glout, and that was with Fang again, exposing the trip, so not a huge fan of it. I played a little bit more defensively, even though I did expose the trip, but a little bit less that the opponent could do with it in that position. Then my next rack was the triplicate T. I went with Toe in the end, and ALTT. Oh, I see. Yep. So Analyzer doesn't like the. Actually, they kept the double T as well, but what for 30 at G7? So G7. Very nice. Yeah, that's how they managed to get the score up so high. The W was doubled in two directions. So that was a miss, I'd say. And my next rack, Datal, which I did play, and I played that for the same score roughly. And then this was my Trig rack, which didn't play anywhere. Top player was Jogger. And I did mention the extension of jog, but then forgot about doing that later in the game. And it actually left a fairly decent rack leave, although a bit vowel heavy, T-U-E-A. Given the vowel consonant ratio at that stage, a slightly heavy vowel rack leave wasn't actually a bad thing. So I do like jogger there. And my next rack was the triplicate A, so I went with Aga for 8. It was a dismal score, but a very good rack leave, and that was 12. So 4 more points at 13C, which is down here, 13C, AA and Packer. Okay. Right, it scored a bit more, but I did like the Naga hook, the creation of the Naga hook. So, yeah, not much in those. And I then had Enterate, which I was happy to spot there from that trip. And opponent still had the 2 blanks, but struggled to find a bingo. Mopa was on offer for 40 at 13A. That's here, M-O-P-E-R. Very nice. And I was looking to take out the Z hotspot when really I should have just been focusing on score, because the worst opponent could have really done there was a 45 point play, unless they managed a fancy play E-A-Z-E, something through there, but that was unlikely. So Mopa definitely better, and that put me down to Q. The QIN was what I played, so that looks okay. Opponent still had those 2 blanks, but at this stage the board tightening up a fair bit. Played Dozy for 42, cozied on offer at 010. That is, very nice, cozied. I think because I was under time pressure at this stage, I was just looking for any play that gave me roughly 30 points, but it just shows you if you manage your time correctly, you can really scan the board for the optimal play, in this case being more than twice the score I got, almost 3 times in fact. And it is a word I am familiar with, so I would have spotted it if I really took the time to scan the board extensively. So that was a miss. And then Grex was B3 for 34. That was there. Getting the X tripled because Gaga is good. Grex and Gaga. And I scored 27, so, and also exposed a trip, so a fairly weak play in comparison, although that also did expose the trip, I guess. So my final rack, Koi, was the play. Analyzer liked it as well, and then Rig is the play I went with. 4H. Yeah, I thought that was what I played. Where was my play? Oh, it's just hasn't got it grayed out because it was the last move. And that was I was planning on playing Rig, I think. Yeah, that's why it wasn't shown. Opponent timed out, that's right. Short-term memory loss there. So Rig would have been my outplay. But yeah, pretty good game. I think my opponent just struggling to find the bingos there. with his tiles, and I managed to get enter 8 down, which I was quite happy with. But some tricky racks, a lot of duplicates and triplicates, which shows you that it's always good to learn those 5-letter words which have multiple vowels in them, or duplicates. It just helps you sort the rack out without having to change, and just keep the score ticking along. So that was that. Hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I'll see you next time.